Have you ever hit that point where you're lying awake at 2 in the morning staring at the ceiling thinking, is this really my life? You're exhausted. Your phone screen is cracked. You've got just $20 left until payday. And the only people you thought would help you suddenly stop answering your calls. That's where most people quit. But that's also the exact spot where champions are born. If you're watching this right now, chances are you're not sitting in some corner office earning 7 figures. You're probably like I once was, working shifts, eating instant noodles, scrolling social media at night seeing other people win, and wondering when it's going to be your turn. Jim Rohn, the legendary mentor to Tony Robbins, used to say, you can either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And that lesson becomes very real when you're broke, tired, and standing alone. I remember my own breaking point. It was a rainy Thursday night. My bank account had $12 left. My friends were at a party. I was home trying to finish a freelance project on a second-hand laptop that overheated every hour. I could hear my neighbor's TV through the thin walls. And I thought, why am I even doing this? Nobody sees the effort. Nobody cares. But that's exactly what Jim Rohn talks about, doing the hard work in the dark so the light can find you later. When you're doing it alone, it's easy to feel invisible. You build a small business or try to learn a new skill after work and your family says, why don't you just relax? Your friends think you're crazy for not going out on weekends. But here's the truth. Every person you admire has been where you are. They've had nights where they cried quietly so no one could hear. They've had mornings where they couldn't even afford a coffee. They've had days where they questioned their own worth. Think about J.K. Rowling. Before the Harry Potter books became a billion-dollar franchise, she was a single mom on welfare scribbling notes in a cafe. Think about Colonel Sanders, who started Kentucky Fried Chicken at 65 after being rejected over 1,000 times. Think about Jim Rohn himself, who grew up on a farm in Idaho and lost everything before rebuilding his life. What they all had in common was this: they were willing to work through the lonely, broke, tired stage because they understood that's the tuition you pay for success. And it's not just about money. It's about character. When you're broke and tired, you start to see who you really are. You learn discipline when nobody's watching. You develop grit when no one is clapping. You learn to create momentum out of nothing. That's why later, when opportunities show up, you can handle them. If someone hands you $100,000 but you've never learned to manage $100, you'll lose it. But if you've been broke and disciplined, you'll turn that 100,000 into $1 million. I remember when I started my first side hustle. I had to walk 2 miles to the print shop because my car was broken. I'd save coins in a jar just to buy supplies. Some days I couldn't even afford lunch. People laughed at me. They said, "Why are you wasting your time? Just get a normal job." But what they didn't see was the inner transformation. Every day I was learning marketing, customer service, design. I was building habits no one could take from me. And when the opportunity finally came, I was ready. That's exactly what Jim Rohn meant when he said, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better." Here's something else no one tells you: you're going to outgrow people. When you decide to improve your life, you'll notice friends stop calling. Some will even get offended. They'll say you've changed. And they're right, you have. Growth is lonely. It's like climbing a mountain. The higher you go, the fewer people you find on the trail. But the view is worth it. When you're broke, tired, and alone, you have two choices. You can either see it as a curse or as training. If you see it as training, every challenge becomes a lesson. Can't afford a gym membership? Do push-ups at home and learn discipline. Can't afford expensive courses? Use free resources and learn resourcefulness. Working a job you hate? Use it as a classroom for patience, people skills, and time management. These are the muscles that will carry you when the weight of success arrives. I'll never forget the time I invested my last $50 into a workshop ticket instead of a night out. My friends mocked me, but that event changed my life. I met a mentor there who taught me how to turn my skill into a business. 6 months later, I landed my first 4-figure client. If I hadn't made that sacrifice, I'd probably still be stuck. Jim Rohn said, "Success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person you become. And you become that person in the trenches, not on the podium." So what do you do when you're in that lonely, broke, tired season? First, accept it. Don't fight the reality. Say to yourself, "This is my training ground." Second, build tiny wins. Wake up earlier. Save $5 even if it's all you can. Practice your craft every day. Read 15 minutes. These small habits compound. Third, protect your mind. Stop scrolling through everyone else's highlight reels. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to their chapter 20. Focus on your lane. And here's a big one, forgive yourself. You're going to mess up. You're going to waste time. You're going to feel like quitting. That's normal. What matters is that you keep showing up. Show up when you're tired. Show up when no one's cheering. Show up when your bank account is negative. Because every time you show up, you build self-trust. And self-trust is the real wealth. Another story. A friend of mine used to work as a security guard making barely $300 a month. He'd spend his lunch breaks reading business books. He started a small online store at night. For 2 years he made no profit. His family told him to stop. He almost did. But he kept going. By year 3, his store made more in a month than his job paid in a year. Today he employs 5 people. That's the power of doing it alone, broke and tired. The temptation will always be to wait until things are perfect. I'll start when I have more money. I'll start when I'm less tired. I'll start when someone helps me. That day never comes. You have to start where you are with what you have. Jim Rohn said, "If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse." The good news is that the very act of starting creates energy. Action breeds clarity. You don't need the whole staircase, just take the first step. And please hear this, being broke and tired is not your identity. It's a season. Seasons change. Winter always turns to spring. The question is, what seeds are you planting during your winter? If you plant discipline, learning, and resilience, you'll harvest opportunities, freedom, and wealth later. I know someone watching this feels unseen right now. You've been grinding for months, maybe years, with no results. You feel like giving up. This is your sign, don't. You're closer than you think. Every master was once a disaster. Every success story started as a mess. The pain you're feeling is shaping you. The loneliness is sharpening you. The exhaustion is building your capacity. When the breakthrough comes, and it will, you'll look back and thank this season. So tonight, when you sit down at your desk or your kitchen table with just your notebook and your dreams, remember this: you are not crazy for working on yourself. You're not weird for sacrificing comfort now for freedom later. You're not behind. You're in training. And training is supposed to be hard. Jim Rohn's whole life was a testimony to this. He didn't become a sought-after speaker by luck. He became one because he worked in obscurity for years, refining his ideas, learning from mentors, saving pennies, showing up when nobody invited him. He built himself so that when the stage appeared, he was ready. And you can do the same. Keep learning. Keep moving. Keep your word to yourself. Even if you have only $10 left, invest $1 in your growth. Even if you're exhausted, read 1 page. Even if no one believes in you, believe in yourself. Because one day soon, you'll wake up and realize you're no longer broke, no longer tired, no longer alone. You'll be standing in a life you built with your own 2 hands. And the best part? You'll know you earned it. So here's my challenge to you. After this video, don't just nod and go back to scrolling. Write down 3 small actions you can take today to move forward, no matter how tired, broke, or alone you feel. Commit to doing them. Then do them again tomorrow. And the next day. Stack the days. Stack the habits. Stack the victories. That's how you build a life. Doing it alone, broke and tired, isn't a punishment, it's a privilege. It's the secret workshop where greatness is forged. And if you're in that workshop right now, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Don't quit. Keep hammering. Your future self is already cheering you on.